What's going on, everybody? What show is this? I don't even know. I'm doing so many shows, I've lost count. It's Flobo saw it on Netflix. It's late. It's actually a Friday night as I record this, and I just got done watching today's episode. Go Karts, also known as Go in its native Australia. Before I do all that, I just want to say thank you so much for checking out Flobo saw it on Netflix and all the other shows that I can't seem to remember when I hit the record button. As we grow the New Amsterdam Entertainment brand and banner, more shows like this are coming down the pipe, and you can learn more about that over on our Patreon, patreon.com/FlowBoyBoys. We call it the Boisterous Crew, people who support good content quite like this. And, well, if you've been a fan of Flobo on Netflix, usually I get to have some fun going and perusing the Netflix library as I talk to you about films and TV shows that tickled my fancy. And perhaps inadvertently, there's been a theme throughout the ones. Of course, when I have guests on the show, they pick the movies, and I can't really have too much say in that. I'm along for the ride. But I've noticed going through the episodes where it's solo me, they tend to be like genre pictures from foreign markets, whether it's the Chinese big action movie or the European heist movie. This one here, Go Karts, also known as Go in Australia, is a oceanic racing movie. It's a sports film by any other structure. And, well, I'll be honest with you, doesn't do too much to reinvent the wheel. In fact, you could pretty much tell if you've seen a sports film, you know where this one is going to go. This one takes place in the world of go-karting. You know, like the thing you did with Mario Kart, like you're actually on the floor as you zip around the track. It's about a young teenager that falls in love with the sport, despite the fact that he has his own issues of being seen as a bad kid. He meets some friends. He gets good at it, but he is reckless. So that's why he gets under the tutelage of a surly mentor, which has his own backstory. Things go great, but apparently to qualify for the big race or the big game, things go bad. All is lost, but there's one false swoop of a twist of fate that allows our plucky hero to race in the big race, and they win. End credits. Not telling you anything you don't already know, because you've seen that from Little Giants all the way to Sister Act 2. It is not going to be an original piece in that vein. And if you're looking for an original piece about go-karting, then that is very specific. But what makes go-karts work, again, especially for those of you who don't know, I am nestled in an American city in Los Angeles, is that a lot of the fact that it is foreign. It is a foreign picture. It is Australian cinema. That was the original appeal. If you guys don't know me personally, Australia is a long and storied land I've been trying to get to since I was a little boy. But that aside, it's always cool to see how other nations handle what you call tropes, whether or not they're American or not. This is beyond the point, because sometimes it's not. Cinema is universal. But it's always cool to see how other countries handle this. What works for me? Go-karting is pretty much virgin territory. There's not many pieces about that sport in particular. And then, well, as I got into Formula One over the pandemic, I've kind of leaned into racing content. I watched Drive to Survive, which I enjoy. On a previous episode of Flobo saw on Netflix, I covered Gentleman Driver, about individuals who basically pay for a seat for a racing team. So yes, more racing content. This is actually part of the Netflix algorithm that recommended it to me, so it totally makes sense. And I enjoyed seeing what go-karting, what it means, the margin of error, how it's kind of a stepping stone for everyone. Some of the characters were great. The plucky best friend mechanic, Colin, was okay. The mechanic character played by Anastasia Bampos as Mandy / love interest towards the end was fine. It was serviceable. These are the kind of pieces where when you're a kid, you kind of sit there and say, oh, I see myself as that character. I see myself as this character. So it all hits those points, but I gotta give it up to Richard Roxburgh, who played the mentor character there. I thought it was pretty much all the beats that was needed to be hit of someone that was surly, someone that was able to see himself in our plucky hero, someone that says, look, I am going to give you and put you through the ringer in a training montage on par with and mentioned to be quite like the Karate Kid. And I thought that was pretty cool to really make it feel like the world is real. And it's interesting how a good, well-rounded actor can really make that a possibility. I mean, sometimes you'll have characters written a certain way that seems pretty flat or two-dimensional. Again, we've seen that kind of character before, of someone who knows the ropes, but they teaches the new person the ropes, and as the audience surrogate, we're along for the ride. But being able to have that little bit of edge as Patrick, as someone that was a former racer, that was kind of cocky and arrogant and led to his own demise in a way that makes it feel authentically as if this is how it gets down in the Australian go-karting scene. Again, my bias, I'm a lowly American, haven't been to Australia, don't know what the scene is like. I was enthralled. And of course, because it's pretty much a linear plot on the go-karting side, there is a bunch of subplots there you have to deal with. There's this weird subplot about getting our main character's mom on a date, which is cool, I guess. Of course, Mandy's character about showing that she is valid in the family as the mechanic of our hero's car, even though she is related to the villain in their racing team. Kind of contrived, but I totally understand, to give everyone something to do here. It is a perfect movie. Again, I say this to a lot of films and on the show, to do other things with. You don't really have to be watching attentively. There is some tonal issues there. Like, it doesn't know if it wants to be a family film. It's shot very gray and dark, as if it has mature themes. But there's some goofy scenes, like trying to convince the cop to ask out our hero's mom, which was kind of supposed to be comedy, or even the bit with the air horn, which is kind of funny. But there is kind of like, there's not really an even keel or tone there. There's a little bit of graphic images, especially with the wrecks in the race, that I wouldn't recommend having young kids around. But definitely, it's a Sunday afternoon. You went over to grandma's house, you ate her food, and you want to watch a piece on the telly while you sit and talk about politics of the past week. You really can't go wrong with Go Karts. And if you're a racing person or a fanatic, it's another one in that genre. It's a kid-friendly racing film. Not so much kid-friendly as Fast and Furious Spy Racers, which is another show we covered on this program, the first 2 seasons, if you will, but another take. And it has a bit of a foreign flavor to keep people interested. I think it's pretty solid. I had a good time with it. The ratings were pretty favorable. It's a little bit middle of the road. I think it's a solid 5.5. Take some time to watch it with someone who may be young, maybe go-karting themselves, maybe a racing fan that has young kids or younger kids, maybe like 9 or 10 or something along those lines. You may enjoy it. I know I did. And that has been this edition of Flobo on Netflix. If you guys like this show, I do a Patreon exclusive version where I break down comedy specials. Those things are all over Netflix. Check that out at patreon.com/FloboBoys. It's called The Boisterous Crew. You too could be a member of that. That does it for me. Check out Go Karts and let me know what you think in the comments below. And until next time, let me know